In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Good morning. Welcome. Special welcome to our visitors and guests. I know a few of you are here for the memorials today. A young boy had not spoken a single word in the first 6 years of his life. And then one day during breakfast, smelling smoke, he blurted out, "Mom, the toast is burning." And the mother was in shock, but she joyfully embraced him, saying, "Why haven't you said a word before today?" He replied, "Well, up till now, everything was okay." While this type of speech development is thankfully very rare, the dynamic it represents is quite common, especially among adults. There is a tendency in all of us to keep silent when everything is going well, but to speak up in criticism and complaint when things go wrong. And this is exemplified in today's gospel reading, which Deacon Ted read, 12th Sunday of Luke, chapter 17. And in it, we heard about Jesus' encounter with the 10 lepers. And they pleaded to Jesus to heal them. And he did. He did heal them. But then only one of the 10 comes back to thank him. Is that not what we do? When things are not going our way, when life gets difficult, when we get sick, when someone we care about is ill or dying, when we have a problem or a conflict with another person, when we worry about tests and finals at school, when our finances are tight, all these are when we urgently plead with God to help us, to take care of the problem, to make things better. Yet when things are going smoothly, are we still talking to God? Are we like the Samaritan leper who comes back to God the next day or the next week and thank him for helping us and for healing us? Or are we like the 9 lepers who forget or who don't care or don't bother to keep talking to God? Jesus made note of this issue when he says, "Were not 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? Now, because leprosy is virtually non-existent in the world today, we might be tempted to think that it was not even a big deal back in Jesus' time. However, as Father Anthony Coniaris notes, leprosy was one of the most wretched and hopeless diseases. It was a daily dying. Every day, part of you died. One day, a finger would die. Another day, a foot, a hand, or an ear would be gone. The person would slowly become a mass of ulcerated, malodorous growths. And leprosy was contagious, so therefore lepers were separated from the rest of the community. They were considered unclean and not allowed to associate with non-lepers. And this is why in the gospel we heard it said about the lepers that they stood far off. Now, this passage is not the first time we hear about leprosy in the Bible. Going back to the early books of the Old Testament, we hear about Miriam, the sister of Moses, being struck with leprosy. And why did this happen? Well, Moses had married an Ethiopian woman. And Miriam and Aaron were not happy about this, and they spoke out against Moses. And this actually exposed their jealousy of Moses' gift of prophecy. And God appeared to Miriam and to Aaron, and if they had any doubt, affirmed that Moses was a prophet whom he spoke with face to face, as it says. And God was angry with Miriam and Aaron, and he departed from them, and then Miriam became leprous. This is recounted in Numbers chapter 12. In 2 Chronicles, we hear about King Uzziah, who became skillful in battle and quite powerful. His fame grew and spread, but his heart became puffed up. And because of his pride, Uzziah thought he could enter the temple and offer incense. The priest at that time, Azariah, the chief priest, and the other priests confronted him and told him he was doing wrong, for only the priests of the Lord could come and offer incense. Instead of humbly repenting, Uzziah became angry, and while he was angry, he became leprous. And he remained that way, isolated for the rest of his life. When things go well, we often remain silent. When things don't go our way, we often complain to each other and sometimes about each other. And this happens because we forget about God, we forget about all his blessings, or perhaps we just don't care. We're apathetic. Or maybe we're prideful. We think we are the cause and source of our good fortune. And when we're in one of these states, it's not likely that we'll be struck with physical leprosy. However, it's almost certain that we'll be struck by spiritual leprosy, where certain parts of our soul begin to die. The sins that we accumulate will give off an odor that is not pleasing to God, and most certainly will become alienated from him and from each other. Now, in our time, because we don't have leprosy, we don't have leper colonies. But through our arrogance and ingratitude, we join spiritual leper colonies. How often do we gravitate towards and associate with like-minded people, those who also want to complain or are ready to hear our complaints? As we hear in the gospel today, Jesus did not shy away from lepers who came, but rather he came to them. This was against the custom of the time. We hear that he also went to the house of Simon the leper in Mark 14, and that he healed many other lepers in Matthew 8 and Luke 5. And even as our own soul is ravaged by the leprosy of sin, even as it stinks with our transgressions and prideful attitudes, Jesus will come to us and he will knock on the door of our heart because he wants to heal us. Will we hear the knock? Will we open the door? And if we open the door, will we say, like the lepers today, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us? And if Jesus says to us, go show yourselves to the priests, will we go to the priest to confess our sin? And if we go and we're healed by God's forgiveness, will we return to Jesus the next day, the day after, the week after, to give him praise in prayer, to give him glory in worship with, like the lepers said, with a loud voice? Will we fall down on our face in humble thanksgiving as the lepers did? My brothers and sisters, let us examine ourselves to see who we are. Are we like the 9 Judean lepers who were ungrateful insiders, who wanted something from God but didn't want God himself? Jesus also says to Orthodox Christians, "Where are the 9?" Just like God said to Adam, Jesus says to us, "Where are you?" Or we can be like the Samaritan leper, a sinful foreigner, an outsider, who realizes our alienation, our exile, and then return. Go back, seeking citizenship in the kingdom of heaven. Let us show ourselves to the priest. And that doesn't just mean saying, "Hey, hi, I'm here. I'm here." It means revealing your soul and your sins in the sacrament of Holy Confession. Because repentance is our return to Christ, so that we can learn better how to glorify Him and how to thank Him. Amen.